What's classified as a small breed dog? Do you have a medium dog or actually a large breed dog? Why does it even matter? Well, today I'm talking about what the cutoff in weights are, which size of dog you have, which category they fall into, and why you need to be aware of which one they are, why it matters to looking after them to the best of your ability and in different procedures that might be carried out during their lifetime. Really, large and small breed definitions, it's going to vary depending on what context it's being used to discuss in, and also if medium breed dogs are also being discussed separately. So there's really no hard and fast rules. The main reason that we'll talk and we need to think about what category a dog falls into, and this will apply for every single dog, deciding whether they're a small breed, a medium breed or a large breed dog, is when it comes to feeding them, and especially when they're puppies. So the kind of classic example here is that feeding a large breed dog is really important to actually limit their speed of growth by reducing the amount of fat, calcium, phosphorus and vitamin D in their diet. Now that might seem counterproductive, that we want to actually slow down their growth when they've got so much to do, but we do know that growing too quickly, so a large breed dog who grows too quickly, it really increases their risk of various bone growth disorders, and the classic ones here would be hip dysplasia, bad hips and elbow dysplasia as well. So the joints really just not forming properly, that cartilage may be having kind of holes or flaps of cartilage breaking free and causing these joint problems, which are then with a large dog for life. Also, them being a large dog, they're putting extra weight, stresses and strains through those joints, so they're going to get much worse arthritis than were they a small dog. So, that's the classic reason why we need to think about whether we've got a small, medium or large breed dog. And from this point of view, when it comes to feeding, we generally consider that dogs less than 10 kilograms or 22 pounds are small breed dogs. Those over 25 kilograms are going to be large breed dogs, and 10 to 25 kilogram dogs or 22 to 55 pounds are going to be medium breeds. But there are differences in where this cutoff comes depending on what we're talking about, like I said at the beginning. So if we're talking about cruciate ligament disease and the likelihood of success of conservative treatment, and I discussed this on episode 17 of the show, then a small breed would actually be less than 15 kilos and a large breed would be anything over 15 kilograms. So we don't really have a medium sized dog kind of category in this situation. So in terms of the best time to spay a female dog, then a large breed is probably more like over 20 to 25 kilograms. And this highlights the kind of one of the big problems about making this definition is that a lot of the time there are studies that we're kind of basing these recommendations on, and they're produced but they only have a really small number of individuals, or they might have a limited number of breeds. And so it's actually really hard to extrapolate the results from those single isolated studies across the dog population as a whole. And, in all likelihood, as with most things, there's no black and white. So it's more likely that there's a graduation effect. So rather than a really hard cutoff or boundary, if, for example, with the cruciate ligament, if you're 14 kilos, then you're absolutely fine to be conservative treatment. If you're 16 kilos, then that's an absolute no-go. There's not going to be that kind of specific kind of set cutoff where there's a marked difference. It's more likely to be just a graduation. And also there might actually be specific risks that are more related to the breed of the dog rather than the size. And it's just those that were tested were all of a certain breed and happened to be big dogs. Whereas if they'd chosen other breeds to test, there wouldn't have been such a difference. So really that's the difference there. And remember also that when we're talking about small, medium and large breeds, the weight that we're giving is actually the dog's healthy weight, so not their actual weight if they're overweight. And a lot of dogs, unfortunately, are overweight or obese. There's a massive obesity epidemic in our pet population. And so kind of these recommendations would be based on a dog's healthy weight rather than their actual weight. And when it comes to feeding puppies, the weight is their adult weight or their expected adult weight. So there might be a few that are, a little bit on the boundary, but we need to think how big are they going to be when they're adults? And that's where we make that small breed, medium breed and large breed cutoff.